Big turns on the big
Again,
screen.
jump scare. Also, I wanted to wait for the actual podcast. It's so funny how often we hear this. I don't know if it's a joke or not. Either way, it's awesome. I was at a set champs, and it was round 4 or so. I don't know why Dan has crabs, but okay. It was round 4 or so, and someone came over to me and was just like, "Hey, I'm a fan of the channel. Actually saw about this event because of the channel, and like I've been watching you all day, and you're actually like really nice, so I wanted to talk to you." I was like, okay, I don't know why you thought I was gonna be mean, but that's cool. And it was awesome. It like made my whole day.
I had a great time. Is that where did we put that patch? Where did I do with it? Oh, I forget. So I had a lot of fun last weekend commentating the luxury games event, and I had like a similar Rob showed up, and that was so exciting. I don't remember. I hadn't seen Rob since Seattle, I think. So it was so long since I had seen him. So it was so nice to like see him. I saw him because it was in a mall. So like where I was sitting was kind of like up on the stage. And then I could see Rob walking down the stairs. I was like, oh my God, Rob's here. Like I had no idea he was coming. So I was very excited to see Rob. And that was a lot of fun, but it was enjoyable. But I had these wonderful patches given to me. I'll go big mode so everyone can see. And
Ooh.
this is from the police department for autism awareness, the city of New York. And there were these 2 guys there that came in from Staten Island, and they gave me this patch, and they gave Allie patch for breast cancer awareness. And I just thought like this was one of the coolest things ever. I said to Kylie, I don't know exactly where I'm going to put this particular patch, but I definitely need to put it on something that I travel with. Therefore, like we kind of just always have it. I can kind of represent it. But I just wanted to shout them out because that was really cool. It was a nice little gift to kind of take home for being there. But the real gift was I got 2 boxes of Arceus Island, and we opened a crab. So
Shiny.
Who was the real winner, guys? The guy who won the hero or the crab? I'm just saying.
Happy as a clam.
I stole from the prize pool.
So this is actually a great story. Orion, right? Like I think we've seen him a lot at the Scarcity games. He was, usually like traveling with Nunez and stuff like that. So I had to play him all 3 days, round 1
in Richmond. Yeah.
Yes, and it was as if I'd been friends with him forever because like he was top decking like a champ, and every time I was like pretending to be really angry and just going, Orion. Like I would discard his whole hand, and then he'd go, oh, okay, flip the top card, whole new world, and I'm like, Orion, you're killing me. That's kind of play experience when you have when you get to play me. It's just all fun and games, hopefully, unless I'm feeling anxious and I'm really quiet the whole time, and it has nothing to do with you. So yeah, I had slides made. I had a question of the day before Dan made his own question of the day. So I was interested in knowing how the attendance has been for people at Set Champs, because
27 and 17. Boom.
Here is terrible.
Ours have been awful.
Yeah, the one that we advertised in our events video for Gilded was massive. It was their biggest tournament ever. I keep saying that because, shout out to stores that have price support. And then let's see, Dream Days, they sponsor me. Theirs was great as always because people like feel at home at that store, basically. Honestly, that's like why most people will go there instead of other stores, is because, like Joetta actually plays the game. She's always hanging out with us. People feel good there. Every other one was 8 people or less.
Yeah, I've played in 6 now, basically like all 3 weekends, both days, and only one of the 6 made it to 5 rounds. The rest of them were all 4 top 4s.
Yeah, so we had Casual Nerd scheduled theirs for the same day as Dream Days, and they only got 7 players. So
sad.
apparently they just put an employee in so that they can make 8 and ran whatever that should be. And then Well Played Games had 11 players, and their attendance has been down since I stopped going there, to be honest. I opened my store 10 minutes from there, and even their weekly attendance has been between like 0 and 6 people, when previously we were getting about 16 a week. And they had 11 players, and they ran 4 rounds, cut to top 8. And then you had to roll to see who went first in top 8.
Wait. We cut to top 8?
They cut to top 8 with 11 players. I was watching because me and AJ trained all week.
Yep.
I wrote that document for him that we ended up putting on Metafy. And he played what I told him to play. He ended up playing against Sapphire Ruby a few times, and 2 of the times he crushed it. And he's like, I did exactly what he told me to do, and I won in 5 minutes. He's like, I couldn't believe it. And then in the finals, he ran into the same person who metagamed specifically against me, who was probably expecting me to be there. And AJ was banished for my sins. So
Man, it happens.
I will say, we normally, not necessarily make fun of them, but we often forget to announce that their events are happening, which I think we did again for June. But Star City Games had great showings.
There is no Star City Games in June. I checked.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
They have one this last weekend, and then there's like a break.
It's because there was 2 in May, I guess.
Yeah, no, I purposely checked because Hartford had such an incredible turnout. I wanted to talk about it.
50 players on Friday and then 70 players on Saturday. So I don't know how much the Sunday one was, but
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was one less with vibes going on. Shout out to Kendall for attending Worlds
qualified player.
Yeah.
It actually looks like Star City has a break until SCGCon Orlando, which is in the end of August.
You know what's interesting? Can I put us up here? That looks terrible. I feel bad covering up Dan for every single one.
I wonder if this one is better. I mean, not really, but once you if you click off, we'll go back down. So it brings us up for comments. See?
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So what else do we have? I'm the one that made these slides. You'd think I would know. Oh, this is what we have next. So most people probably didn't see the video. We kind of strategically planned that because it was not a Disney Lorcana video and people would be outraged. But we are sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. I actually already got the boxes for next month, and I recorded most of it. I just got to do the voiceover.
Is that a matcha Kit Kat?
Yes. Every month, they have different treats, and this stuff comes from Japan. So cool. Yeah, it's cool watching DHL tracking, which, it's kind of like the USPS, except it's like, oh, it will be there in an hour, and you get it 2 days later. But
Yikes.
But I have never had such good international shipping, in all honesty. But anyway, yeah, I actually love this product. They sponsor us now and everything, but I'm blown away by this. I've been telling everyone about it. Like, me and Dan off screen, I've fangirled about how great of a product this is. So if you are interested in trying stuff that's actually from Japan, all of them have a theme. This theme, Osaka was the theme for last month for Sakura Co. And it's actually stuff all from that prefecture. Yeah. So if you can't get to Japan yourself, you can sign up for one of these. And if you use code TFMD, that's TFM for Dick Burns, because I'm the most sponsored guy in the game at checkout, then you're going to save some money, and you'll let them know that it was worth it sending me this free stuff. So appreciate that. And what else we got? So,
Wait, is that real? Jesus.
Yeah, it's the participation.
Yeah, still.
Yeah. So, TFMD could also mean TFM drama, because every Thursday I feel like I have to talk about some drama stuff. And one thing that was causing drama here in North Carolina was there was 3 or 4 set champs that had 8 players, and everyone still got 1 participation promo. And I am against this wholeheartedly. You agreed that you're going to give these out, and I think that's fine if you still like gave 1 to each player. I mean, at 8, come on, you can give everyone a playset. You know, like they're worth nothing. But what's end up happening is you go on TCG Player and their stores have 30 of these listed, and it's like, was $30 worth not just like being like, hey, I appreciate you all so much for coming to the store. Like, you could have chose to do anything on this weekend, and you came and gave me money. So, yeah.
I was unaware of the slides. How does that make you feel? Because normally you're not aware of the slides. But this is, it's no different than getting league promos, right? Like, we get league promos and you just give them out over the course of whatever. They could have very easily saved these cards, and just the next tournament they hosted, they're like, hey, here you go. Or like their local league players that show up every week and play their store. I don't care. Give them to them, you know, like, hey, thanks for showing up to league this week, guys. Here's another hero because we have 20 extra. I know for us, we had 17 players, and I do believe the top 8 got like another one. So like, it was like, hey, we didn't use all of them, but 17 plus 8, still 25. So there was still some left over. And I assume that there'll be more given out, but it's one of those where it's very frustrating that any store will just like hoard these for literal no apparent reason, specifically in a world where they're $1. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away that they would do it over $1.
Yeah.
And I hope Ravensburger is watching, because next to their store name, it says if they're a store on TCG Player.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the stores by me during Set Champs, everyone who made, so it was a top 4 tournament because there were 15 people. And so if you made top 4, you got two additional on top of like your 1 entry. And then myself and the finalists, because I ended up losing, so I got second, we each got like a play set. So like I went home with 5 that day. She goes, you're here to play. Why would I not give you a play set?
Yeah.
Which I thought was at least genuine. Like, she's giving it to the people who participated.
Sounds like Melissa's giving me 3 more of these since I only got 1.
Shout out to everyone in the comments whose local stores gave multiple out.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Like, when I, like, someone pointed this out to me, and then when I was talking about that with them, other people overheard and was like, oh, my store also like has 30 extras of these. I'm asking for one next time I go.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's no different than the rest of the,
like, there's just a league promo,
or it's just an OP kit promo at that point.
Yeah,
you should just give it out weekly.
Raffle
it off, whatever.
So, whatever, just give the winner every week. If you go 3-0, here's a hero. Like, whatever, just add to the, like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, shout out to the comic book store in Glassboro, New Jersey, because like, I would walk in there and I'd be like, oh my God, you have this random Magic promo thing from however long in your basement. I'm like, it's like $500, right? They're like, oh, well, we got that for free, so we're not going to sell it. We'll run a tournament and give it to first place.
Yeah.
like that, that is like who I live by in my own store, is like going there, but anyway. All right, and then we had Paradise Games in North Carolina. This was pointed out to me. So they did an invite only for the Arcasia's Island Set Championships, and they capped it at 20 players. And there was so many screenshots. If anyone wants to read this entire thread, it was juicy. There was profanity I didn't want to put in here. It was in the North Carolina, South Carolina Facebook page, and a lot of people were saying that they stopped going to this store years ago for certain things. So, yeah, I didn't want to just put where, like, it was 18 of 20 and it says the event is sold out. I also wanted to show that they also ran set championships that had up to 36 players. in the comments, somebody said that the store owner absolutely hated that people from other places won his previous ones. And someone responded and said, "Boo hoo! People are giving you so much money. I hate it."
Yeah.
That
Oh
had me
no!
dying.
How dare they come and support your store, ma?
Yeah, and then there was even more. They had another one where they wrote in the description, cap is 36 players for their store. And then they had this, let's see, everyone gets a non-foil promo, must have played in one weekly event prior to this event to have access to the tournament venue area.
Sweet.
Yikes.
That's against the rules.
So yeah, if anyone out there has any other instances like this, some people have told us that their stores also break the rules, but it's their only store and they don't want them to not have set champs, so they won't tell us. But this one was out in open, and the guy actually, someone messaged us 3 weeks ago about this store, but we hadn't.
That store?
Yeah.
Okay.
We hadn't been live since. So everyone is heard. We check the messages. Some things obviously take priority. So, all right. And then this was the discussion, and you were on the case for this for a little bit.
Yeah.
These people were defending the store. Yeah. So another thing was a store had no prize support. I think it was this one. It might have been a different one that has no prize support. So let's talk about this. Someone was complaining that they went to a store, they paid money. First place got a playmat, top 8 got a promo, everyone else got a participation promo, and that's all. And then this was another extremely long thread, maybe 50 plus comments.
Yeah, it was a big one. It came up in the moderator chat like a couple times.
Well, these guys really dug in on this guy. I only highlighted one of their messages each. So Matthew here was saying that, well, it costs money to get the kit. He said the 145% markup is absolutely a case in this scenario. A kit that used to cost $100 is now $245 for the same kit. Before we respond to that, let's read the other one. Seems wild. You would assume that league and championship kits are free for stores, especially when stores have to pay to be part of the hobby store club and then pay an additional fee to be part of the organized play group. On top of that, the store also has to pay for their promo kit. Ravensburger and Disney are not providing these kits free of charge. They make money on these similar scheme to franchise stores. Every single step of league and set champs play requires quite the investment in people, hours, and finite space. Knowing this, the age-old quote, time is money, and make an honest assumption you do, given your previous business rhetoric, and that card games do not hold the same market weight as they were in the early 90s to mid-2000s, how did you get to promos equals free? What fever dream are you in to make such an assumption?
Yikes.
All right. That's a lot to unpack. We should just bring us back to unpack all this. So you reached out to some stores. I reached out to some stores. And how much did those stores say that they pay for their weekly league kits to be part of the Play Hub and for their Set Championships kits?
I'm not supposed to curse on here anymore.
Yeah, don't do that.
But we're just gonna raise our hand and say bullshit, because these comments are unbelievable. It's almost spoken as if they have no idea what they're even talking about.
They have also claimed to be store owners,
which makes absolutely no sense.
Previously in the chat.
There's literally no chance. Or you're just actively lying to your entire player base. Period. Right.
So I have distribution. I own a store. I also agree that I won't show stuff that's embargoed or certain prices from the distributor. And I'm assuming that all stores have this as well. So I'm not going to say what stores I reach out to or who I talk to at Ravensburger, but all of this stuff is free. There are certain times where they say it's free if you spend a certain amount on Disney Lorcana product, which makes sense because you are proving that you are actually conducting business
Yeah.
involving Disney Lorcana, right? I mean, one store, I've said it before, one store in my area didn't have the funds for a $400 order for Disney Lorcana product to get a kit, and I just gave them the $400 and they gave me stuff. You know. So yeah, I just I didn't want to argue with anyone, you know, typing on the internet and stuff like that. I just wanted to present what they had to say. What?
Not even in that group.
No, this is in the North Carolina group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, we'll use our platform to say everything that we have asked store owners.
Yeah.
Every store owner I showed this to laughed.
Yeah. I don't understand it at all. Why is it so hard to just treat your player base nice? I don't get it. I literally do
So
not understand
frustrating.
it.
Like as someone who used to want to go to league all of the time, it's like treat your players well and they'll keep coming back. But if you're not going to listen to them and you're not going to give them any sort of incentive, I'm not saying you have to give me prizes, but like there is an OP kit. I can play and earn a chance to get a pin or a deck box or whatever else comes in said kit. It's like that doesn't have to be challenging, but some stores it feels like just don't want to do it, and that's so frustrating as a player.
Yeah, I think the other problem is, you know, I it's been a little while since I've actually read the kit and like you know the description of how you win prizes and how you. To me, all of those things should be more like guidelines. You know, like you know what your player base wants. If your player base wants to show up every week and do a draft, awesome, do a draft. You know, like whatever they want to do, you want them to keep coming to your store. So just lean into that. I feel like there's this entire misinterpretation of what these kits really are or what they should be. And Set Championships just seems to be adding on to that. Like, obviously, there's nothing on there that says, hey, if you have extra, you know, non-foil hero promos, you should do this with them. But I mean, like, use your brain, right? Like, just like,
Yeah.
hello?
Read the room.
When I've like talked to people that like, you know, are in marketing, I'm just like, well, you know, they can't, there are things that they can tell a store what to do. And that's with things that like they've agreed, yes, we will give out these playmats. Yes, we'll give it. Right. But everything else comes down to capitalism. If, you know, they assume that the store will work in the store's best interests, and the store's best interest is usually to keep players happy.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole point of running tournaments and the whole point of why Ravensburger would provide all this stuff for free is because tournaments are marketing. And this is something that I think we're definitely going to touch on when we talk about the World Championships format. All of this is marketing. You know, we'll get more to it later, but yeah. So like stores that are not providing prize support because they're like looking at the value in the pool and stuff like that, I think it's all crazy. Like you're being given a gift from Ravensburger, and you should just be so happy that your customers are getting extra value and that they know every single time I come to your store, I'm going to get at least my money's worth plus potentially more.
One of my stores, the one I played at on Sunday, they specifically asked us during Top Cut, because they charge $30 entry, and for every 4 players, they put a box into the pool, which I think it's reasonable, right? If you want to play for a bit more higher stakes, higher rewards, like it's a great place to go. And the store owner asked us when Top Cut was going on, he goes, I noticed in the area, a lot of other stores have been lowering their prices. Like some are doing $10 and it's just like 1 pack per person, etc. He goes, do you guys want me to continue in this model of $30, like 4 box, like a box for every 4 people, or should I lower it? And that particular community said, no, we like the stakes in it because we're actually playing for something more. So it was nice to just see that the store was listening to the feedback of the customers.
The question for that is how many players were in that tournament?
So that particular one had 14.
Yeah, so that's the problem though. Like, what if 14 is pricing people out? Like, what if?
Well, that was the question.
What if the $30 is pricing people out from kind of that event? Was there a contradicting set champs that like someone else could have went to. There's so many lines to all of that. Even this past weekend, you just said, like, for every 4 players, they added a prize in the box. Luxury Gaming did the same thing. Like, for every 16 players, they added a case. To a case. So it's the same thing. Four players is a box. So it's one of those where that's insane. For a set championship, if you had 32 people show up, all of a sudden it's a 2-case tournament. Now you're talking about playing for a set championships, a card, a playmat, and potentially a case of cards for first place. Those are great tournaments to have for a certain level of player that want that out of set championships. But I feel like at this point, I would probably say the majority of people playing in set championships just treat it as like literally 10% above the like minimum league promo, and that's where I think that it's probably best for most stores to just say, all right, we're just going to do $10, let people show up, and we'll add like a pack or something. To me, it's just, if that's all that set championships has to be, I would much rather 30 people show up and play, then we've seen earlier, people were talking about, they didn't even have events fire. Like, the idea that you had set championships not fire when a year ago we were running around literally anywhere within 2 to 3 hours of us on a Tuesday night just to play, that's a bad sign. So I think that these definitely need to be reworked. Obviously, we can, if you guys want to talk about it for a second, we kind of touched on this a few weeks ago, but the idea that we went down to the 1 playmat and now these players are like legitimately chopping it up in 4 and 8 pieces. I mean, it's just like, the community is telling you that it's a problem. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is. I do think that removing the runner-up playmat was a bad idea. But I also think that people cutting it up are just stupid. So, I mean, that's just me.
Me and Willow have a video coming out about this week.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. I said, for one, I've been seeing everyone argue on Twitter, which is like one of the worst things you can do with your time.
I would love to say real quick, I am so glad that since going back to work, my time on Twitter is like less than 5 minutes a day. And it is actually healthy. I should just remove the Forbidden Mountain from Twitter. I'm not even kidding. I should just remove it and just delete the app. I'm just saying. I'm being real.
Yeah, that's true. I only have Twitter so people could talk to me, because there's like no other way to get in contact with me specifically. Obviously, you can reach out to TFM's socials and ask for me. I will respond. But yeah, I mean, so people have been destroying their own property that they have already paid for to protest things for as long as I can remember. Whether it's for kneeling with Nike, whether it's what's his name, Yeezy getting fired from Adidas, and then people destroyed their $300 shoes. There is,
whenever a great sports player gets traded, people destroy their jerseys. You know, like exactly. They sign with a new team, like whatever. They're like, let me just light this jersey on fire that I paid hundreds of dollars for.
Yeah. So like,
you have to give out a shout out to Bro. All right.
I did earlier.
I didn't see that. My bad.
Just wants to hang.
So like, this has just been a very common way that people protest things forever. One thing I speculated on was that like Set Championships has a specific budget, and I do think that the free promos should have been there from the beginning. And I think that, and this is all speculation.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I think behind the scenes pushed. Yeah,
we said this. Like, you can always add to it. You can't take away. So like, they're like, oh, we added this thing so we could take away that thing. It's like, no. Like, you could add the participation promo, which was great. You cannot take away the runner-up mat. It's just, you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, if I had to speculate, I'd say like 3 or 4 set champs from now, we're gonna have 2 mats again.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if it's as soon as Fabled. In all honesty, I think we've done 2.
My only problem is like how long it takes. I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying, I think that from the moment it happened in Azurite, was it Azurite Sea or Arceus Island?
This is the first one.
So it was Azurite. No, it was Azurite Sea, wasn't it?
We had runner-up mats last time.
Yeah, this is the first
Scar
one.
had runner-up mats.
Did have all right. So this is the
Because
first
I have a
one?
Scar runner-up
Yeah.
mat and a Scar
Yeah, it
champ
might
mat.
not be until set 10.
And set or attendance was really down around here as well. One thing that happened, which I couldn't believe, was someone walked into the room and saw like 36 players for the double case one, and they left.
Yeah.
And they
Why?
said, I just don't think I can top 8 this, which is crazy because, and I don't want to put them on blast, they've never top 8'd a set champs before.
Sure.
And you're getting something now for free. Before you were getting nothing. So I don't
Yeah.
understand that rationale. But a lot of players,
Well, it's like one of those too. Like how much did that event cost?
20. It
All
was
right,
so cheap.
All right. Yeah, but it wasn't worth $20. I was just gonna say, like, I
Yeah.
would have bought in just to get the promo, but now that I know the promos are $1 each on TCG Player,
Yeah.
I could have bought 20 of them. So I digress.
But I had other friends. One of them specifically said to me, like, listen, I have top 8'd every set champs I played in.
Mhm.
I have only top 4'd one, and I felt like I can make the finals. I don't feel like I can win one. And they're like, with the promo only being like a $35 promo, and now if I make the finals, I still have to win another one. I just don't think I'm going to, and I'm not going to attend, which isn't the best mindset, but I understand the rationale.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, their next level up moment was to win a runner-up playmat.
Right.
And that was
And that
taken
got
away from
taken
them.
away.
Yeah.
I had
I
a
see.
friend, he's made the finals 4 out of the 5 events he's played in, and he keeps losing in the finals. Sometimes it's bad draw, sometimes it's bad matchup.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's so frustrating because there's less of them around. Some people don't want to trade, or some people don't want to split, or find
Yeah.
means to give them out because there is only one.
Yeah, we had Medify supporter Matt. He went to 3 weeks in a row, runner up, and then finally won one this past weekend. But he's like, shout out to Michelle. She did the same thing. She lost in the final. So like,
Yeah.
we've had even our community members kind of just upset about this concept of like, I got to the finals and I got the same thing that the person in top 8 won. Like it's not a good feeling, like it's not specifically in a world again where we had it existed.
This also gets compounded by stores not doing additional pricing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you at least tiered up from what Ravensburger provided.
Mhm.
And now I think people didn't even like realize their store wasn't giving them anything else because they were so happy to have what was free for the store.
Yeah.
Like, I think right now people are realizing that some of the stores they attend might not be like the best business practices.
Yeah. I mean, that's not shocking, but yeah.
Good job on the win.
Get it?
Congrats.
Winner, chicken dinner. See? There you go.
All right, what do we got next? Oh, more drama. There's us. This one was a while ago. Yeah, so they did end up responding to this, but let's see. So this store, Game Man TN, Games and More in Lenore City, Tennessee.
Games and More at Games and More.
Is selling their entire Lorcana Championship kit. These are the ones that hurt the game. Ravensburger, I hope you see this. Well, I feel like they will now, for sure. And it's great because I've obviously found people on eBay, and I have like found where they have slipped up because people that are doing bad stuff are often so stupid.
Yeah.
And my gosh, to put your thumb in it. And when you have such a unique like, so on the left is their eBay listing, and on the right is their Facebook. Multiple people sent this to me specifically. Multiple people sent it to TFM. They did end up responding and saying, well, they've never fired any of their events before, so they figured they'll just sell them.
Oh yeah, that's totally how it works.
Which is a great excuse. It's like, oh, I've robbed 3 banks before, so I'll just keep robbing them because no one's keeping their money here.
I'll just make $500 every time. It's fine.
Oh my god!
More. I mean, if they're selling heroes at 90 each, that's like $1,000 for that kit.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, go ahead,
do you
Melissa.
think
Insane.
do you think that when at some point we switch to the new hub, there's going to be more visibility on this because they have closer eyes on it? Or is that like
It's just
irrelevant?
so easy to fake a tournament.
Yeah, I
Like
mean
I absolutely loved weekday set championships, but
Same.
weekday set championships made it so much easier to fake them. It's like,
Fair.
oh, this random one at Wednesday at 4 a.m. Like,
Hey, listen, on Oliver's birthday, I got registered for in a tournament. I'm not going to name the store, and I got the email. And I'm like, I'm not going to like an event today. Like, what's going on here? And it turned out that there was another TFM Dan, and I was like, that's crazy. So they
Imposter
literally,
alert.
and then like the pairings went out, and this guy did not get his pairing, and he's like, what do you like? I'm not like, this is the wrong thing. And then they realized they had registered the wrong TFM Dan. It was a store that I did attend at one point. I actually won the set championships when I went there. But yeah, so I thought it was so funny that I'm not in this tournament today. And yeah, then I found out later on that apparently there's another TFM Dan running around. So
yeah. All right, what do we got next? Okay, yeah. So they did respond. Here's their response if anyone wants to read it, and doesn't just want to take my word for it.
Did you just say it right?
Yeah, they said they won't be carrying Lorcana anymore. They didn't even say Disney Lorcana. How rude!
How rude! This is this isn't the world of Lorcana. All right.
Oh,
anyway.
Hilarious! Small world. That was the event I won.
There you go.
We were joking about that. All right, and then I didn't run this by you guys at all, but our good friend Eric, there was just wanted to warn the community, and I saw multiple people share this.
Yeah, this guy is ridiculous.
I didn't look into it. I feel like I trust Eric enough to where I don't need to look into it. But if anyone else wants to look into it, they can. I just wanted to let the people know out there, if there's a company that you're considering working with or buying stuff from, maybe pass up this one.
Yep. See you later. Added it to the blocked page.
Okay. But yeah, I don't want to dwell.
I don't even want to give this guy any more credence.
Yeah.
See you later.
And straight into questions. All right. So we've got the Mr. Corrector himself. What do you consider the worst legendaries of each set? What will be the worst legendary branch of far? I didn't even read these questions.
I'm like, hello. Now I gotta go look. I don't know, man.
That's an inappropriate question. Yeah, we're trying to bring up the game here.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen.
Mr. Corrector is banned from questions.
Go watch the last video on TFM, and you'll get some of my ideas. That's for sure.
Gantu. Yeah, Gantu's the answer. Right?
Gantu, I don't even know if Gantu's the worst, but
oh gosh,
pretty bad.
Yeah, man, I remember you, Jason. That's why I put you up on screen earlier. Said hi.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's too soon to tell, and there's many that I don't think are very good, but that's okay. Like, that's the point of legendaries, and this is also, like, we've talked about this a little bit in the past. This is why I don't like the current street rat format of just like commons and uncommons, because I think that there are very unique legendaries in the game that we need a reason to play. And that's why I really like that $50 deck building concept, because it gives you the ability to be able to play with some of these cards and kind of build around them. So that's the cool thing about legendaries. They don't all have to be good. They just have to be interesting and unique. What I hate is when we get cards that overlap and then they look the same. And you're like, wait a minute, like there's already a card that exists like this. Why is this legendary? Because then I feel like they're breaking their own rule. And considering we're only 8 sets in, I actually don't think that that's enough time to where we're already overlapping on abilities.
I think the worst legendary was Diablo. It makes me not want to play the game. So it is the worst. All right. Fred X, do you still think Ravensburger will support the Infinity format officially, or will it be up to stores / local community to drive that format? Is it a format that interests you in the first place?
I mean, they said they were going to promote it. I think if they were not going to do it, they would have not even bothered naming it. honestly.
I mean, they made a point to say that there were going to be like separate ban lists and like separate rules and everything. So I do anticipate that more is coming, and they just haven't revealed the details yet.
Yeah, as a store owner, I will definitely be supporting it because I got some broke people locally, and I know for a fact it's going to take them months to get a new deck.
I mean,
They've been
Southside
playing-
Gaming's like the Southside Invitational they announced is going to be an Infinity format. And like I'm playing in that tournament. Granted, I don't know what the rules are because I don't know what cards will or won't exist, but like
if it's
I need
not
to
3
prepare.
deck format, they've already messed up.
I'm tempted to convince them to change it, but who knows?
I mean, it's a pretty large tournament. It might take a while.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got Jorge again. Do you think another card that people can pull out of a booster box will ever surpass the set enchanted Elsa in value? The iconic Mickey would probably be the best bet, but unless Ravensburger makes another more exclusive rarity, is it that? I would expect that the Mickey and Minnie should surpass Elsa, because the fact that the Elsa is so expensive still makes no sense to me.
It's Elsa.
No, it's just the lack of like actual product and like how many of them are actually out there, right? It's more of a everyone that wanted them bought them, and now as you're getting more and more players in the game, there's just not enough of them like in circulation, right? Like that's why they've hold their value. So
the problem, obviously, with anything in life is more people want to buy them than people who want to sell them at lower than say $800.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny how things like this work, and nothing makes sense in cardboard for value, whatever. It's not like something that you need to live, obviously. So I don't want to hear that argument in the comments. But it's like Maui, you need 4 of that. Elsa, if you're a collector, you need 1. If you're a player, you need 0 enchanted.
Yeah.
So you would think the Mauis would be like at least $250 each, but they're not.
I mean, are they low? They were up at around 200 for a while there.
The belt was high for a while.
Same thing with Tink. Like Tink is pretty much held between like $200 and $300 for the last year.
Yeah, I would just think that, like, because why are legendaries expensive? Because their playability,
right? I just think that it's different.
Yeah.
I think that this is clearly different. Where obviously, I don't even think there's that many. I think if you're an enchanted gamer, you're probably in like literally the top maybe 0.5% of the game that are enchanted gamers. There's not that many. Or you play Emerald Steel, but like
the fact
or you used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes.
Yeah. But every Emerald Steel player is just like I get my cards to be enchanted. I don't understand it, but
cough Dale.
I mean literally, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's such a different thing. I do think that it was kind of sought after to be that standard, and it was like that was probably the card that most people, when they had seen it for the first time, was that like aha moment, like, oh wow, like this is different, like this is what we're really. And I think it's the best. It's probably arguably the best art in that set as well. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot of things going for it. Do I think, aside from the iconic card, and it's only because the guesses around the pull rate of those cards are kind of ridiculous, and we spend lots of money on this channel, and we're going to open a lot of product, and I'm hopeful that we open one. I think the odds are in our favor to maybe open 2. So that's based on a just complete theory of what the likelihood of opening one of these cards is. So just on that determination alone, they have to be worth more than Elsa. Like they have to be. So
well, the scarcity of it too, right?
Like if they're not worth more than Elsa, then I actually think the entirety of adding more of these to the game is terrible.
Yeah.
Like if even the same thing for what's it, Epic, right? like I think that epics for the most part have to be worth like more than majority of the set, because if they're not, then it defeats the entire purpose of it. Like the whole point of adding these ridiculously new rarities is to have people excited to open product, which I never understood, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not a pack opener person, but the whole idea of like, oh, I need a reason to open a booster pack, I don't just open the pack, don't open the pack, I don't care, right? Like I don't get it.
No, I get it, because
I mean,
from selling Pokemon product, like Pokemon players, if they get a $3 EX, are like, I got a hit, I'm so happy. Like it's crazy.
But we have those in the game, they're just not shiny.
But there's
right,
just
but you're
way
giving
more.
me
There's way more fancy looking things in Pokemon, and that's what people want. They want to get excited, even especially if they like slow roll themselves and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a gold card. Which one?" You know.
Yeah,
I
open the
also
pack and
think
move on, man. Open the pack and move on.
no, there's excitement when you I have fun opening
I
them.
opened more packs than you will ever, Melissa.
I know. That's why you don't like it.
It's pointless.
I also think that from a collector standpoint, like we know that Fabled has a lot of reprints. Yes, that's beautiful. But like we know Fabled has a lot of reprints. I don't have a lot of excitement to want to open the pack if some odd of half, or give or take, I think they said
I
half.
100% agree that if Fabled being what they have already said it is, more than half of the set is a reprint. No one
So
would
like you
wanna
have
open
to give me
it.
a reason to want
Right,
to
I
open
get it. Like,
Are you
no, like,
kidding me?
why would anyone that's been playing the game for the last 2 years open them? Like,
Right.
I totally get it. As a competitive player, you still might not do it. You might just say, okay, what are the non-reprint cards and how many of them do I need to purchase?
I'll buy my
And
singles.
that might be it, you know? So I don't know. It's tough. But for me, it's like it's if they're not worth it, then it's failed. Like if these cards come in and they're like, oh, here's a $5 for this uncommon that's normally $1, it's a failure, in my humble opinion. Like I'm just not gonna care.
I'm also curious how many of these iconic and epic cards will be in circulation, considering the print run of the last 2 sets has been drastically less than needed.
Yeah.
I didn't make a slide about this, but there are a lot of stores canceling their pre-release events, and by a lot, I
I've heard
mean
about this.
more than 3 or 4, and it should be more than 0. Like more than 0 is the problem.
They're pre-release because
their store is
getting
only
the
getting a
product.
couple of boxes, period, and they don't want to run pack rush. They want to sell boxes.
So this pre-release is
pack rush,
not like a set championship or a league kit. Like it's actually like, no, you have to just run
You have
this
to use your
off of
own product.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, very bad.
Well,
That's like
you can charge wherever you want, and you can have pricing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, we got cut on product again this time, so it's like one of those where if every single set, like the last 2 sets have just been not as good as they had to be, especially not for a game that's believed to be growing, you know. That's definitely a problem. So I don't know. That's really tough.
And I could totally see Ravensburg expecting Fabled not to sell that well because of how many reprints it is.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not as bad as it is now. Like, you know, I had a store promise me 200 boxes and then 80 and now 0.
Yeah.
I'm actually really concerned for Fabled that people are going to chase these epics and iconics, and stores are just going to, like you're saying, are going to say, sorry, I can't sell you pre-order because I requested 100 and I got 20.
Yeah. I mean, though, I hilariously enough, I feel like if that's the type of player you are, you're going to Target and buying blister packs, you know? Like,
yeah,
I'm being real. Like, if you want an excuse to buy Disney Lorcana packs, then go to your local Target, go to your local Walmart, and just buy your blister packs and have fun. Good luck. But, you know, I think that the days right now of even every competitive player in the game right now that normally would buy a case and then buy whatever's left over, I don't even know if that's possible right now. I don't think it is. Like, I think even like if at the encounter, for that tournament, is it next week already?
Yeah, this weekend.
Unbelievable, guys. They couldn't even sell a case to every single player that signed up for the tournament. Like, they didn't even get enough boxes for that. So if you have 60 players week 1 looking to play in a tournament, and you're telling me that you can't even have that many boxes to support that, like if every player wanted it, that's a problem. Like 60 times 4 is not that, it's not that high of a number. So the idea that you're only getting 180, 200 boxes from a store that is selling out event. Think about Southside Gaming. Like Southside Gaming, what did they buy? I don't know, like 400 more boxes over the set of Arceus Island. There's got to be a bigger uptick in these moving forward. And what I'm very scared about in some ways is that when rotation hits, there's going to be a huge market that changes. Like there's going to be a drastic change in the market when we start figuring out what are the best cards in rotation. And some of these cards from sets 7 and 8 and potentially set 9 that are just underprinted, they're going to skyrocket. If Tamatoa is good in rotation, it's going to go back to $70. Like Maui Shark is going to go back to $70, $80. If you don't own these cards, you should be buying them because we don't know what rotation is going to look like just yet because no one's really focused on it. But you're talking about one more set, and the set is composed of reprints and some number or percentage of like new cards. You can start figuring out what the good cards are. I've been telling people for weeks, like, I don't know where this Clarabelle is, but I bought I finished an enchanted playset of Clarabelle because I'm like, you know what? You can't not convince me that's going to be one of the best cards in rotation. If I'm wrong, whatever, I bought in for a small period. But if I'm right, and all of a sudden enchanted Clarabelles go to $200-$300, I'm going to look like a genius.
I mean, look at foil docks. Like, didn't they skyrocket? I mean, we've been talking about how good dock is for sets. Don't get me wrong, but
foil dock, like maybe foil Daisy Duck, right? Like that's another one.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't have enchanted that's a foil, those cards are like Maui Shark, foil Maui Sharks. They could hit $100. They could hit Maleficent Dragon numbers. There was a point in time where Maleficent Dragon was $100. There's a point in time where Rapunzel was $100. So those are the things that I would look at if I was like really starting to try and predict the markets early, because really just the idea of what the sets already are. If I'm with Dick, if I could have, I would have bought 200 boxes of set 8, but I like, you can't, like, you literally are like, no, like it doesn't exist.
Let me jump in on this thing real quick. So there's a little debate in here. So what Dan was saying is, if you're treating the booster packs like lottery tickets, and you're going to buy every single one a store owns, and the people that support that store weekly are going to be kicking rocks, please just go get them from a big box store, because that is something that makes it so that people don't want to play in a store. Yeah. If I'm going to a store weekly and they can't give me my pre-order because some guy spent 10 grand, I'm not going to that store anymore. Like, okay, you got a payday. What happens when he decides, oh, One Piece is the next lottery ticket?
Yeah.
So it was nothing like, obviously we support local game stores. The first hour of this was shouting out all the stores that are awesome and having great events.
It's funny because I'd like to go back 2 years in time and talk about this for a second here. And I don't know, I really don't know how invested you guys were in the game before the launch of it. But obviously this channel, if you're hanging out with this, we started the channel in late April of 2023. So we were very invested in the game before we had like 40 cards. So I remember having conversations with some of the local game stores around us, and I was talking to like some of these store owners. They're like, yeah, listen, a guy from Chicago called and said he'd spend $1 million on this game. Like that's insane to think about. But now going back, if you could have spent $1 million on chapter 1, I guaranteed you would have like quadrupled your money.
Yeah.
Like actually quadrupled it. Like it's not even like, that's not even a joke. Like that's like an actual real statement. And that's based off of what Scott and I kind of did in chapter 1, if I'm being honest. Like chapter 1 basically paid for set 2 and set 3 product. That's how insane the turnover for chapter 1 was. So now all I'm saying is like we're coming up on this rotation, which we have never done before. And because of it, you need to really start thinking of like, what are these good cards that like are on the marquee? And it you start looking at Maui Shark, you start looking at Tamato, you start looking at Clarabelle, you start looking at Foil Dock, like all of these things that are so very good right now. Well, when you remove sets 1 through 4 and some of the cards that are actually better than these cards, you have to go, what are replacing them? And right now, I'm just trying to give you an early financial tip, and that's not even me. Like that's Scott's job, but I'm just saying, if you don't own some of these cards, you should buy them. Like you should definitely go buy them.
Yeah, I've been buying all the 25-cent cards because worst case scenario, I lose 25 cents.
Mal Dragons are down. Non-foil Mal Dines are down to like $7.
Well, we just found out that they're a set championship pro now. So like,
No, I know. It's just to your point. Like those were $50 non-foils.
they were $100 at a time for sure.
Like, and they've dipped down, and maybe they're good again post rotation because we know it comes back.
It depends. Like you're a newer player, right? But Dick knows this. Sometimes it just depends on the art and which one you like the most. I do think while the set championship Mal is phenomenal, and I think that if Maleficent Dragon is playable in rotation, that card will likely contend with Stitch, right? Like I think we can all agree to that. And as long or if Infinity has a playable deck for Maleficent, that card might also scale in price. So those are the things that I would be considering. But right now, it's not shocking to me. I think Dick might be able to agree. I think the entire market is down right now.
Oh yeah,
we're very much in a
low.
People are in a huge
buyer's
panic.
market.
People are in a huge panic.
Like we're very much in a buyer's market. So like again, if you don't own certain good cards, even if you're not even sure you're gonna play Infinity, right? Like if you're not even sure, if you have the extra income, you should purchase some of these cards that are very cheap right now. Because if all of a sudden a DLC gets announced in October and it's Infinity, and I'm telling you right now, everything is going to go like it's sky high.
Well, that's why I was mentioning it. It's like I have a play set of that card because I played it in set 1 in my Ruby Amethyst deck. But it's just like to see the changes, and for somebody who might be newer to the game, it's like, hey, this was a staple. It's coming back. It might be a great time to just pull the trigger for very cheap.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, what do we got next? Was that everything on that one? Yep. All right, with set rotation coming after next set, how much does that influence your deck building for set 8? Do you build around trying to minimize the impact of losing cards to rotation, or just scrap it all and start anew on set 9? So locally here, I know. Yeah, we can't see that.
We can't see your Thomas.
Oh, he's got a Forbidden Mountain.
That's really fun. 0. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 0.
It's 0.
So I'll speak for the non-1 percenters out there who don't just own 4 of every card in foil. So a lot of people. What do I hear, Kylie?
Yeah, it sounds like Kylie.
She's over here doing orders, guys.
A lot of people here around me have stopped playing, and they're not going to play again until set 9 because their budget for Disney Lorcana is about $20 a week. That includes buying singles. And that's just the way it is. Like most people's, I don't remember the exact thing. Most people spend a certain percentage per month on hobbies. And so this is a very low income area. So the amount that percentage of their income is going to be lower than someone living in, say, New Jersey, where minimum wage is $16 an hour. So I totally understand it. I mean, sadly, people will skip paying bills and stuff to go play card games, but they shouldn't. Right? So yeah, I know a few people who are just like, well, I'm not going to buy any Reign of Jafar because I don't know what ink combinations are going to be good for set 9, and I'm not going to spend whatever amount of money just for 3 months.
See, I
Whereas
think
like we go to DLCs, we want access 4 of every card at all times.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Melissa go first before I rant.
I think what you were saying there is really interesting because I understand that you can't pour your entire income or like spending money into a game that's a hobby, that's not a way to like earn or like provide for your family. But I think that, let's say a week into the format, there's a deck that you say, hey, I want to play this deck. Like, you can buy a starter deck and get Beyond the Horizon or whatever the case, like whatever cards someone might be looking for.
Is that a starter card?
It's either the starter deck or the
I don't know.
closest.
I didn't get any product, so I didn't watch anything.
I don't know. I've been seeing things online. Whatever the case is, like if there's a card you want, you don't necessarily have to buy a case to get 4 of that card. You can spend $20, wait a week, see what the meta shakes out as, and say, I'm not going to buy everything. I'm just going to pick these cards because like this is my first card game. I've never experienced a rotation. Quite frankly, I have no idea what's coming next and if the deck I play is going to be viable or what the case is. But I think that saying you're going to do nothing, if you actually care about playing the game and want to compete, like that feels icky. That feels bad. Because like I want to go to Texas, I want to succeed. And so if I just don't buy new cards, like my deck is going to fail. It's going to stall out because people are getting new tools and my tools might not be able to keep up with it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple ways to go about this, and I'll go the content route. In all honesty, I have, since the moment they announced rotation, content's down.
Yeah.
Period. And I mean for everyone, right? Like everyone all over the place, content is down. So the initial reaction to rotation is bad. It's not good. And I think there is a lot of players out there that are not up, they're just not happy about it. And I think that there is that predetermining factor of, well, this only matters for 3 months. You know, like before it was always like, okay, this matter. It was almost the opposite. It was like, it's like a reoccurring theme of like, if something is too good, like, oh, it's okay, it'll change in 2 months. Well, now it's a problem, you know, like now it's like, oh, well, it's not okay because everything's going to change in 2 months. And you're like, what? Like you just use the same argument about why a card should be banned or not banned. But now because 4 sets are getting banned effectively, it's a problem. I don't get it. It's one of those, like kind of what Melissa said. If this is something you do, it's something you enjoy, this is what you spend your time doing, I can't think of a good reason to not just do it. Again, like they announced a rotation format. They announced Infinity. Like they announced an entire thing. I guess we just at a huge jump in numbers.
I was going to say, did we get another raid?
I think JDZ might have rated us.
For the raid, I'm sure. I don't have the manager up, but I can see the numbers just jump. So how you doing, JD? Hope you're having fun. So to me, it's like if you're gonna play, if you're gonna invest, I don't think that like taking 3 months off, it's a short-term versus long-term discussion. In the short term, you make an excuse to not play for 3 months, but your long-term ramifications that are probably bad because it means like when set 9 comes out and you're like, oh, I'm in rotation. Well, now you need to get cards from set 8 and set 9, and now you're in, like probably worse off. Like unless you're gonna save your money and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like put whatever money I would normally spend away and then wait. But I have a feeling that that's not the type of players we're talking about. You know, like these are the type of players that are like, oh, I'm just gonna go and play another game for 3 months, or I'm just gonna waste my money doing something else for another 3 months. So if you like the game, if you enjoy the game, and guess what? If you don't play for 3 months, you're not gonna get better. If you're not, if we talked about a little time that level up moments. Those level up moments can start right now. Like you playing for the next 3 months with new cards makes you better in rotation because you know what's going to happen in rotation, which is going to be the kind of like the most interesting part and what I think is best about rotation is that we are inviting a bunch of new players to the game that were discouraged that they were 8 sets behind. You know, they were discouraged that like they had to go out and every single Amber deck starts at $200 because of Rapunzel. They're like, I literally can't play this unless I can't learn this new game and play this new game for a card that I want to enjoy because it starts at $200. So you're going to get this whole fresh intake of players that are going to come in and explore the game. But you're giving up advantage if you're not playing with these cards already. So I don't know. There's a million ways that I could go about this conversation. And for me, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're here and you're showing up and you're playing Disney Lorcana every week, there's no excuse to not just continue to play. Like, if you want to set yourself up and build some pre-rotation deck, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's the best way to be successful, in big events and set championships. I still think you should be building and playing the best deck that you can. But if that's even the goal, I mean, look at Turner Dogs, right? Like that dog, like those dogs came out last set. They're winning stuff left and right in set championships. They've top 8 at multiple large events. They just got, I don't know, like 5 new playable cards maybe in the deck. Like, go build Turner Dogs and say, all right, cool, in rotation, I'm just going to play Turner Dogs in set 9. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do. There's a lot of ways that you can be successful with it. So for me, it's just like, don't just not play the game for 3 months. That's ridiculous.
We also just we have to learn the cards, whether the card is like, to your point, there might be a card that's not playable yet that becomes playable. But if you never open the card or use the card, you're not going to know what it is. And then you have 408 cards to learn instead of 204. Even if some of them are not new cards, it's still a lot to comprehend at once.
No, because even, again, whatever the reprints may be in Fabled, you have to have the same conversation again where, let's just say in a world where Rapunzel doesn't get reprinted. Well, now you have to reevaluate the entire Amber Ink. What do I do with this? That's not, obviously, I just told you Turner Dogs, but what does Turner Dogs do without Rapunzel? How does that deck function by losing your draw 3? It's questions like that. Steel Songs. What do we do if we don't have, Strength of a Raging Fire, Let the Storm Rage on, a Long Game Zeus? If we don't have those tools, what are we doing? Those are the things that you have to start looking at right now, and look at sets 5, 6, 7, and 8. And, without those tools, how do those decks actually even operate? And those are things that you can give yourself a little time on if you focus and stay in the game for the next couple sets and you want to start pre-planning for it. I think that you can kind of still be successful. But if you just walk away and you don't play the game for 3 months, you're not doing yourself any favors.
To end this on a nice note, I always have an extra deck in my book bag. Anyone out there who actually keeps a decent sized collection, if you want, your local game store to continue to succeed in times where there are people out there that are like, yeah, I'm just going to take some time off, let people know that you also have a deck on you and bring an extra deck with you.
Yeah, come hang out. Exactly.
All right. Do you like to use ink tokens or just use your cards as the God and the Mouse intended?
I've never used ink tokens.
I'm too dumb to use ink tokens. So I tried using ink tokens when we were first allowed by using a playing card deck. And it was nice because I would stack them all on top of each other. Let's say I exert 4. 4 would be showing. The number 4 would be showing. I had 4 left. Disagree. But I actually think that Ravensburger needs to institute one of 2 rules. Okay. Either or. 1, ink tokens are required. Or 2, ink needs to be in the front. I am really someone might get mad at me for saying this at my local store. I am sick of people putting their hand in their ink. It's driving me insane. I'm about to just put a sign on the wall that says, if you're putting your hand in your ink, you have a game loss. And this is at a non-competitive local game store. I can't stand it. It's every week. It's the same people every week. It's very frustrating. And if they're not going to do that, then maybe don't flip your ink over. Make that a rule. Then people will stop complaining that they can't keep notes. One of these 3 things I think needs to happen. I'm tired of people being like, wait, did I have this many ink? I think this was my hand. And trying to pick up another card, stuff like that. I think that not having your ink
and these are innocent casual players in your locals.
Yes.
The Inkwell is the most cheated system in Disney Lorcana.
Yeah,
Period.
so like when I played
Period.
other games that were designed similarly, your what would be ink in that games was separated from your board by things like your health, for instance. Like in, I think it was Kaijudo, you had your health in the middle of the board, your actual board, and your ink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your ink was also face up. So yeah, it's getting frustrating because I don't assume that people are cheating, which could be naive of me. But then when I see someone who I know for a fact is not cheating and they're like accidentally cheating, it then makes me realize how easy it is for people to be bad.
That's kind of just my point. Like,
Yeah.
if this is an accident that happens all the time, it's an accident that cheaters can abuse, and that's why, like, and I don't think the ink tokens help at all. I really don't. I like, to me, it's just another thing where you can just make an excuse of leaving a card out of your deck when you go to shuffle again. You know,
That was why I was saying I was stupid, because the one time I used them at locals, I forgot to shuffle the cards back in one game.
I just don't see a reason for it. Like, it doesn't add anything.
I was definitely in favor of them when they were announced, and every single time I see them used, I'm like, no, this is terrible. I hate it.
My biggest problem is time.
It creates, when you use ink tokens, it literally creates another unofficial zone.
Yes.
Because now I have ink tokens, and then I have like a place for my cards that were my ink tokens. And then I have my deck, and then I have my discard pile, and then I have my hand. It's just like, the boards look awful. Like the whole board state of everything. If you're watching a game, you know, on stream, and you have these ink tokens here, you have a deck over here, you have a face down pile over here. It's just like you have a player come in, you're like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand what's going on. I think they were terrible. I think they actually should just completely renege on the entire situation. Say, we're not going to allow ink things anymore. They're terrible. I also agree with Dick that we should be able to, it literally should be in the rules to put your inkwell in front of your stuff. Like, I think it is the absolute best practice in the game to do this for all of the reasons why it was terrible in Magic. Like, people always bring up like, oh, this guy's a Magic cheater. Like, yeah, no, I get it. Magic cheater were a whole other situation. This is the complete opposite. It's to legitimately take cheating out of the game, because if your inkwell is all the way up there and you're playing by the rules and you're leaving your ink face up, which nobody does, okay? Like, no one does this. The ink that you play for the turn, leave it face up. If you do this, there will never be a conversation of, oh, did I ink this turn? Did I do that? Well, if you ink this turn, your ink would be face up. So, like, there's so many things that you can do to just clean up board states and make it like just better for everyone. And I think that ink tokens just add a whole other layer of sloppy board state. It's all it does for me. Get rid of them. They're terrible. I hate them.
The same player that will accidentally put their hand in ink and stuff like that will be like, did I ink? And the whole store at once will yell, leave it face up.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, we literally, I will never forget, like, those first gameplay videos that we recorded together. We were like, this should just be a rule in Disney Lorcana, like, straight up. And then like 2 months later, it was in the rule book, and it made me laugh pretty hard.
It's hilarious because he probably didn't expect us to talk about this for this long. Go ahead.
Well, I remember hearing your story at Star City Games Philly when like we weren't friends, and the judge call that took like 30 minutes because they didn't know if you inked up or down. And all I remember Dan saying is, why can't we just keep our stuff face up? It'll solve all these problems.
Just leave it up. It's not that hard. We don't need to waste 28 minutes of every other player in the room.
Yeah.
Because someone wants to try and get an extra ink. Like, completely avoidable situation.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as someone says, did I ink this turn? The answer is yes.
Yeah. I honestly, it should be my gut reaction. It should actually be every player's gut reaction. Be like, yep, you did. Sorry. Like, this is what you get for not following the rules. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was fun. Thanks, Jorge. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was so glad they asked this because I was like, this week specifically, I was getting heated at my store, and there were people that refused to play that player just for fun, and that's a sad thing too.